hopefully it won't spend too much longer on this. Something I realized, I'm still creating from Windows selectable. I think I probably want that to be item list. And it means I can get rid of all these methods that are just the same, really. Don't need any of these. So this is the current problem, how I'm creating the data array, I believe. See, we can cut out so much of this. Keep our plugin a bit more concise. This way you're only overwriting things that you're actually using. Includes. Huh. Okay. Everything in the output list should be included. Maybe this is the key here. Maybe we just use this, but on the array of objects. So let's make our own array first of all. We will say let output item array. We'll just push all the output items into that to begin with. And we'll copy this line. Instead of all items from the party, we will use our output item array and then filter. We'll see if this has made any difference. I'm not sure if it will. Let's put a couple of things in there. So yeah, it still says 0 and it still stacks them. So there's something that I'm missing. So how does it do it normally? Let's see. Item list. So we grab all the items and filter. So maybe the problem here is that this includes should maybe when we're including, we should check if the item is already in the list, and then we use draw item number, and we overwrite how we draw the item number. Maybe that's the problem here. Right, let's check the includes. Yeah, that's all bog standard. What does filter do? Is that let's have a look. Okay. So it just allows whatever. So if this comes back true, then the filter allows it in to the list. Huh. Okay, so when we're drawing the item, okay, so we do need this. If this dot category equals output, then we'll do something in here. You know what, this is all the same, I think. You know what, this is the wrong thing. I think we just want draw item number. And then we just catch if it's if this dot category is equal to output, make sure we don't overwrite every item list. So what's happening here is we draw the item number, it does the usual checks. If it needs a number, we'll draw this, just a little colon. And then when it's the important part of drawing the actual number, if we're looking at the output, we don't want to get the number of items that party has. We want to get that from somewhere else, which is going to be furnace data. I have to grab this scene get furnace data, and then we have to use the furnace data here. What are we doing here? What are we doing? Okay, so we'll make a function here to try and make this a bit easier to read in the draw item number function. So we have the furnace data and we have the item. Return furnace data and then there's got to be an identifier here. Const item identifier goes create furnace data generate item identifier. So we need just the item, okay? We'll pass in item identifier and then we'll grab the quantity just like that. Okay, so we got the furnace data. We need to pass in the furnace data and the item. And then we'll say quantity equals that, and then we'll just draw the quantity. So this might still be an error. It might still show us multiple items in the list, but at least we'll be one step closer to understanding or getting there, the problem. Okay, 1, 1. Yeah, okay. So it's still doubling up, but now we are closer to the answer. So instead of pushing all of them, I guess we just want to push one copy of each item. So we don't need the quantity here. We just push each item in once, and that should probably do it. Iron silver 1, 1. Iron silver 2. There we go. So when we click on it, it breaks because we've not handled that yet. So scene. We have select input, we have select fuel, but we don't have select output. So this here, on item OK. If the category is equal to output, this dot select output. So again, we'll grab the furnace data. Just to stress, look how easy that is compared to typing out the furnace data dot furnaces, the ID. It's so much easier, so much more readable. If you can find spots like that in your own code to just speed up development and make it much more readable, just take it. Let's see, if item. So what am I trying to do here? Alright, so in my head I'm thinking, we click on an output, what do we want to do? We want to add the output item to the player's inventory, reduce the quantity of the output item, remove the output item if quantity equals 0. So we'll generate an item identifier. So there's us reducing the count by 1. I think it's game party dot gain item, and then you pass in the item and the quantity. We'll just do one at a time. We'll do this little check again where it'll be this item window dot item is undefined. Then we'll select last. We'll activate the window. What was the other thing? There was a couple of things I did to make sure the window was still there. Just activate and select last. Oh, refreshed item window as well. Okay. So we refreshed the item window to update whatever happened with the item being gone. We'll activate the window. We'll select the last if we're currently on an item that is nothing. So add the output item to player's inventory. We've done that. Reduce the quantity. We've done that. So how do we remove the item if the quantity is null? Furnace data output items. How do we delete this again? How do you delete from an object? Hmm. Okay, I think that's done then. All right, let's see. Let's see. So currently I have no iron, no silver. Also just check the output here. Yep, nothing, nothing. Cool. If I put something in here, okay, I'll need to update the output window when some input has been smelted. But there's 2 coal in there, iron, silver, and nothing in here. Cool. So let's see if I grab one iron, 1 silver. I grab iron, grab silver, 2 iron, 2 silver. Very nice. So what was that little bug that I caught? That once we do this thing here, we want to set the furnace data dot what was the flag? Refresh for required, something like that. Ah, okay, put it in this thing. Furnace data, refresh required equals true. And let's just see if that does indeed cause a redraw. So when we see one sword disappear, we should see the inventory appear. Ah, it didn't work still. Okay, what's the problem there? I may only be updating the display window and not updating the item window, refreshing. That's probably the problem. Um, yeah, there we go. So hopefully it works this time. There we go. Very cool. Um, I forgot saving and loading again. So here we go. Let's try and get that working. So where do we extract contents? Make save contents. Right, we're just going to rip this. So we do the same thing that we always do when we don't want to delete something. We will say const data manager make save contents equals data manager dot make save contents. We'll say let contents equal, oh, so this returns contents. So we want to catch what it returns and then we edit it. So here it just it puts anything it wants to save into contents and then returns it. So we catch contents and then say contents.furnaces equals furnace data.furnaces. I think that's it for saving. And the reason I'm not just catching furnace data, like I said before, there's a lot of functions and just junk in here that we don't really need to be saving. It's just the furnace data itself that we need. So let's see for load, extract, save contents, is this it? So we just rip that, do the same thing. Dot extract, save contents. So we just want to call it. It doesn't return anything this time. We just say call and then pass in this. And then we have furnace data.furnaces equals contents.furnaces. Yeah, we're just getting this. We're just doing it the opposite way around. We're taking this and putting it in here. Then we're taking this and putting it in here. And now you would think we're done, but that's where this old problem creeps up again. Why do I have the data class and the item ID? And that's so we can load up the item correctly. So I'm going to get rid of this now. Uh, Load furnace items or something like that. So we need to loop through the furnaces. I may need to get the keys again here. So let's do const furnace keys, object keys, furnace data dot furnaces. So for each of the furnace keys, we will get the furnace data, and then we will say furnace data fuel item. Is there a get item from data class and ID? Perfect. So we'll grab an item from here. So yeah, fuel item. We'll say data class equals fuel item. Is it something like that? How did I do this again? Oh, it should be where I set the fuel item. Add item to fuel. Okay, so data class item ID. I think I've used uppercase and lowercase in here, so that's a bit of just bad code, I guess. Data class, we'll say item ID is this thing. And then we'll just use the data class and the item ID to get the item from it. And then we'll update the furnace data, which means this has to be let furnace data fuel item equals item. And this is just the fuel. So maybe I should make another function inside of the furnace data. Um, load fuel item, maybe load input item. And then load output items. Furnace data dot load fuel item, and we'll just pass in the furnace data. Input item is going to be very similar here. It's so similar, I feel like it could be made into a separate function of its own and you just pass the properties in. And you know what? It's just because I'm typing out long form. You could just pass this into here and this into here and it'd make it much shorter, but the readability would drop pretty drastically, I think. So we'll just keep going the way it is. Bit more typed out, bit more obvious what you're doing. So we get the item, the input item and the input item's data class and ID, just the same, and then we update the item with the new item. So output items may be a little trickier. We're gonna have to get the keys again. And yeah, then we'll loop through each of those output item keys. Grab output item data, furnace data, output items, and then this is going to be the key. And then we do the same thing basically with this, but it's going to be data class is going to be output item data, I think. And here we'll say output item data dot item. So we'll just run this and see if it's working. This might be a problem, but we'll find out. And this dot load furnace items, and then we just need to do furnace data dot load input item, and then furnace data dot load output items. So we're gonna dump some coal in here, dump some wood in here, dump ever burning coal there. So it's 2 pieces, 3 coal, 2 wood, and 1 that. Let's save here. Okay, so it doesn't like something. If I take out all of this and do it one at a time, is it okay? So it's 3 coal, 2 wood, 1 that. Still doesn't like it. Okay. Did I call everything properly? Let's see. Make save contents. If I take out all of that,